Hello and welcome to Steve's Bees. I'm Steve and these are my bees. So, over the years I've caught quite a few swarms, but the problem with swarms is you never know what you're going to get. In this case I've got a drone laying something. So we need to work out what is actually drone laying and how we're going to treat it. So we start off, just a quick smoke to the entrance before we take the roof off. As you'll see, this hive's still got the feeder on. I've been feeding it since I caught it about 3 weeks ago. They've now, when I last looked, they've drawn out about half the box. But looking at the cells, there was obviously a problem. Something's actually drone laying. So we need to work out what it was. So we start off, we smoke at any of the joints on the hive, because if you've crushed a bee, as soon as you release that joint, you can release any alarm pheromones, and the bees might get a little bit tetchy. So just a bit of smoke, that just covers that alarm pheromone if it's there. Right, off with the feeder, and we're into the hive. Just a gentle smoke across the top of the frames, just to keep them calm. We're actually quite a nice hive, this. So we're going to start off at the back. Obviously that's foundation, nothing on there. These are foundation as well. Put those out of the way. More foundation. Just looking to see if you never know, there might be a queen on here somewhere. Very rare that you found a queen on foundation, but you do occasionally. And then we're down to our first drawn comb, which is just us. Nice bees, nice and calm. It'd be a shame to destroy this one if it's drone laying, because it's a really nice colony. And here's another frame. This frame of pollen, so odds on the next frame is going to have some brood on it. Again, we're looking for the queen all the time. If you do see the queen in this video, please let me know. Lots of cap stores, and they are still drawing out the foundation. So it looks like this next frame's got brood on it, so we'll give it a bit of a smoke either ends off on the lugs just to get the bees down so we don't crush any. And there we can say the cappings on these cells are raised and domed, like there's something drone laying in here. So you can see the brood pattern. It's quite a nice circular brood pattern, apart from the fact all the cells are drone. But it looks like they're actually trying to draw a queen cell as well. So the bees themselves actually notice there's something wrong. So, but in this case, it's, do we have a queen laying a normal brood pattern, or do we have lots of workers laying in the cells? You don't normally just get one laying worker when you've got drone laying workers. You'll often get quite a few. The workers' ovaries don't start developing until there's no brood in the colony and no queen, and it's the pheromones that actually hold the workers' ovaries back from developing. So if we take a close look at the cells, have a look actually inside the cell. So if you look at the bottom of these cells, you'll see that the eggs are right down the bottom. If it was drone laying worker, the eggs will be halfway up the side of the cells. You'd also get multiple eggs in the cell as well. But actually, looking at some of these cells, there are actually multiple eggs at the bottom of these. But that is also an indication of a queen, a new queen that's been mated, and it's just her first egg. She often gets a bit over enthusiastic. So at the moment, I'm tempted towards a drone laying queen in here. So going back to the frames, we'll start off. We think we've possibly got a queen in here, so it's just a case of trying to find her. So I'm taking the frame, I'm looking at it closely. You need to look at every single bee really. If you just start on the outer edge of the frame and just work your way around in a big spiral, until keep going, spiraling right into the middle of the frame. Look at every bee. You need to look down the sides of the frames, in the corners between the actual frame bars and the wax. You need to be looking for the shape of the bees, because often if you see a queen, they'll have bees in a star shape around them as they feed and clean her. So just, you need to be looking at every single frame now, trying to find this queen. I mean, if we can find this queen, it's just a case of quickly dispatching her, and then we can just unite this colony with the colony next door using a newspaper method. So again, if you see big clusters of bees, just rub your hand gently across the top, just disperse a bit. Got stung there. Not my fault, I must have crushed a bee. But yeah, just gently just move the bees out of the way if you see them clustered, to try and find that queen. So can't see her on that one. Quickly whip the stick out my finger with the hive tool. Give it a smoke, just disperse any pheromones. There you go, there's the sting. So on to the next frame. Nice brood pattern with stores across the top. A nice circular pattern of brood in the middle. Lots of bees over it. Really very, very calm, gentle bees. If they're not running around, they're nice and slow, they're not panicking, they're not flying up in your face. Really, it's a disappointment that we're going to lose this colony, because they are very nice. I caught this swarm out a village just north of here, and whoever keeps the bees round there is very nice bees. Again, I'm looking through the comb, I'm looking at almost every single bee just to try and find this queen. If while we're looking at this video you happen to see the queen, please let me know, because I can't see her. Look on the other side. When you're looking at frames for queens, always try and look on the dark side first, because queens don't like the light. So if you look on the dark side, you might see her. So we're still looking for this queen. We can't find her. Definitely some raised dome-shaped cappings there, so she's definitely laying drone. Now we're going to go back on now to the previous, because if you can't find the queen after one pass through the hive, incidentally the rest of the frames in this hive were foundation. So we're just going to go back through the frames again, just to see if we can find this queen. You can tell by the brood pattern really on this, because there's a nice circular brood pattern there, that there is a queen in there somewhere. If it was drone laying work, you'd find the laying would be a lot more sporadic. There's a queen cell there, so the bees are obviously not happy with her and are thinking about a new queen, perhaps potentially superseding her. But obviously if she's not mated and she's not fertilised, she can't lay a fertilised egg in that cell. So we can't find the queen in this hive, so we're going to just place this frame back in. Now we have to come up with a method of being able to deal with this colony. We can't just unite them with another queen-right colony, because obviously two queens don't go together, and if they end up fighting, the bad queen may win. the drone laying queen rather, may win, and we don't want that. So my preferred method in this case, and it's the same for what I will do with drone laying worker, is I will take this hive to the other end of the apiary, and I'm going to shake all the bees out of the hive and into the long grass. The queen herself will be lost, but all the flying bees will be turned to this location. This colony that is beside this hive, and the one you see in the background, this was a swarm I caught about 2 weeks ago, and they are actually queen right. So I'm just removing the final bits of foundation out of this hive, but the other hive is queen right. The queen is laying, she's laying healthy brood, proper worker brood, and a little bit of drone, but proper worker brood. So she's obviously mated. I'm quite happy with them. The only problem is they're just a little bit weak, so they need more bees. So ideally, all the bees that were in the hive we're dealing here, we shake them off at the other end of the apiary, and those bees will fly back, and they will be accepted by the other hive. There may be a little bit of clustering on the front to start off with, but eventually they will all be accepted into the hive. So we're just going to move this hive, just place the crown board on, or the quilt, put the best axminster on top of it, and then we will just carry the hive up to the other end of the apiary. So here we are, other end of the apiary. Hive is now in the long grass. So normally what I will do is I'll leave this here half an hour, 3/4 of an hour, just to allow all the flying bees just to go back to the other hive. So here we are, we're back 3/4 of an hour later, and most of the flying bees will now have left this hive. There'll still be a lot of bees left in here, but it just takes the bulk of the bees out, so you've got less bees flying around you when you're trying to do this, because sometimes they can get a little bit annoyed as you are shaking them off the comb. So where we are here now at the other end of the apiary, we've got plenty of long grass, so we can shake the bees off here. We're about 100 to 150 yards away from the other hive, so the next step is to shake them off. So we take the crown board off, put that to one side. We've got bees on there, so we'll just shake those off into the long grass. Just a quick tap, and again same for the axminster, just shake any bees off it. Now we work through the hive. A little bit of smoke, but to be honest, this lot don't need much smoke, which is a shame really again. So dummy board first, shake it off, or shake them off. Then we get to the first frame. Again, I'm still going to have a quick look, see if I can see this queen. You never know, I might suddenly spot her. So just shake, quick tap, shake them off. There'll still be a load on there, so just get your bee brush out, give them a quick sweep. You'll notice I'm not putting the frames back into the hive. If you put the frames back into the hive, the bees that are still in there will just climb back onto the frames, so you'll end up doing each frame twice. So just shake them off and give them a quick brush. Again, I'm just having a look, see what I can see. I'm actually looking at the larvae here, just make sure there's no disease in there. Now, looking at the larvae, they're all nice pearly C-shaped segmented larvae. So there was no disease in here, it's just the queen was not mated. It's not surprising the weather we've had just recently, but this was a nice day. Again, shake and brush. And put to one side. Into the long grass. Again, a shake. I mean, these combs are perfectly good to be reused, and I'll put them on one side. And now we have an empty box. Still quite a few bees in it, so it's just worth just shaking them out. I find if you drop it on the ground, the bees will generally fall out. In this case, I'll drop it completely and send it for a roll. Didn't mean to do that, but let's give it a good shake, get all the bees out. Don't put it back on the stand. The bees now are all flying in the air, thinking, where are we? Let's go and try and get home, so they'll be heading back to the other hive. So here we are back at the original location. You can see in the air the amount of bees that are flying around, and they're all clustering on the front of the hive. They'll sit there, but eventually the existing colony will actually allow them in, especially if they come back bearing nectar. But I went back to this hive that evening, and all these bees had actually gone into the hive. So to give you an update on this colony, about 2 days after we did this operation, I went into this hive just to check that everything was okay. Queen was quite happy laying, but the colony was a lot stronger. Thank you for watching.